Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station, coming to you from the Nelson and Tasman region. In today's news, house badly damaged in Stoke fire, search for tourists still hampered by bad weather, body on the west coast identified, water restrictions implemented for Nelson, and Canterbury Quakes exhibition opens at local museum. Local fire crews were still at the smouldering scene of a house fire on Tuesday morning after a blaze broke out at a property in Leicester Street, Stoke, around 5 p.m. on Monday. It's understood no one was injured in the blaze, which left the house badly damaged. Around 5 fire crews from Stoke, Richmond and Nelson battled the fire throughout Monday night. The search for German tourists in the Traverse Saddle area of Nelson Lakes National Park is again being hampered by poor weather. Search Coordinator Senior Constable Dave Colville says it was likely teams could resume the search on Wednesday, with the weather forecast set to improve. Meanwhile, police are still hoping to speak with anyone who has had contact with Mr. Pren, and in particular a German woman called Angela Barr, who is believed to have spoken with Mr. Pren at one of the huts. Police have formally identified the man whose body was found on a remote beach near the mouth of the Kahurangi River on Sunday. He is David Hutton, aged 72 years, of Ruby Bay near Nelson. A post-mortem examination has been completed and preliminary results indicate Mr. Hutton has died as a result of a fall. The Mainland news team headed out to ask Nelson residents for their opinion on the proposed closure of the Brook Motor Camp, which is going out for public consultation.
Nelson City Council and all that keep trying to close things down. Nelson will pretty much be a ghost town.
I think they should promote it a bit more. Maybe they should charge a little more for it, for people staying there. I think it's a great thing to have. It'd be a great shame to lose it.
I think they could advertise it a lot more because I didn't even know about it till I went last week to Brook Sanctuary and I saw the camp there, but I didn't know anything about it till then.
Well, if they promoted it, surely they'd be able to invite people in and maybe they'd have the money to actually keep it going.
The Brook Motor Camp, I'm not too sure really. It's a nice place, that's for sure. It's a nice river to swim at. Shutting it down, probably not. Probably promote it a bit more for the region, I reckon, anyways.
Absolutely not, no. Because people really need it around here. Yeah, and without that, then it wouldn't be very good.
Maybe I haven't seen it promoted at all, really. So I guess their own season is really a few weeks in the middle of the summer, and that's it. Whenever we go for walks there, there's hardly anyone there.
The council are taking no more bookings on it. Does it sound like it's already a done deal?
I think it's sensible. If they're thinking about maybe closing, I think it's fair enough not to take bookings and then make the decision and maybe open again.
As local river levels continue to drop, Nelson City Council has confirmed water restrictions for those taking water directly from streams and wells. Rivers and streams in the area have met the low flow trigger level under the Resource Management Act 1991, which signals the need for water restrictions to be introduced. As from Tuesday, March the 4th, residents are required to stop using water for non-essential purposes from the following rivers and streams: the Wakapawalka River, Teal River, Ludd River and Poor Man's Valley Stream. Water may only be used for essential purposes including firefighting, drinking, watering stock and domestic washing. Water may not be used for crop irrigation, garden watering, washing cars, houses or driveways. Council asked for full cooperation from residents in the hope that further restrictions affecting domestic supply won't be needed. Unless there's significant rain, Council may need to extend restrictions to other catchments and further restrict domestic water takes in the worst affected areas. Council recommends those people drawing domestic water from affected catchments arrange an alternative source of domestic water, for example from storage tanks, in case of further restrictions. The restrictions only affect those Nelson residents who take their water directly from the above rivers and streams and their adjoining wells. Some calls into Nelson and Wairau hospitals were impacted by an unplanned telephone outage earlier this week due to problems with its PABX phone system. Nelson Marlborough District Health Board IT and Infrastructure General Manager Patrick Mnar says work on the telephone system is their highest priority, and they were working with their external vendor to identify and resolve problems with their system. He says the hospital's emergency systems had not been impacted. Clinical areas of the hospital have cell phones for communication and radios to communicate within the hospital as a backup. Fewer building consents were issued in January this year in Nelson, Tasman than in the same month in 2013. 40 new dwelling units were granted approval in January 2014 and 44 in January last year. The value of consents for both of these periods amounted to the same at $9 million. The number of consents in the region peaked in October last year when 55 new builds were authorised, slumping to 33 in December. Overall, the trend for new dwelling units continues to rise across the country, with consents issued having risen in 13 regions throughout New Zealand in January 2014. The Nelson Provincial Museum launched its latest exhibition, The Canterbury Quakes, on the weekend. Representatives from Christchurch and Nelson community were present at the opening, with guest speakers who were involved in the human response from the New Zealand Armed Forces, Nelson DHB and EQC, some who explained who they were, and the unfolding of the rescue efforts immediately after the earthquake hit the city and the ongoing rebuild. The exhibition shows the instant destruction from the main quake, with footage captured through CCTV of people unable to maintain their footing and being powerless to be in control of their surroundings as buildings collapsed around them. Plus, there's a display with the recorded audio from that horrific moment. With the use of technology, it brings a more personal aspect to the public, with video footage of Cantabrians sharing their stories through the audiovisual displays. The Canterbury Quakes exhibition also shows the layout of the tectonic plates, as well as the history of the build-up from the 4th of September 2010 Darfield quake and aftershocks to the 6.3 quake on February 2011, which was centred close to central Christchurch. The message in this exhibition is an important one, not only for what has happened, but what could happen and how we can all be more prepared. So don't miss out on this great opportunity to see this free exhibition sponsored by EQC, which is on from now until the end of April at Nelson's Provincial Museum on the corner of Trafalgar and Hardy Streets in Nelson.